This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to the SAP deep dive session on SAP Warehouse Management. In this session, we'll see how the interface between the inventory management and warehouse management is carried out. So, inventory management and warehouse management is not different, both are actually same. So, whenever we are doing any posting in IM, we need to have the similar posting in WM. The main concept behind this IM management and WM management is that the total quantity of stock in IM should be same as WM. So this is achieved via various ways. One important way is the movement type linking. So that means in the there would be some process which are IM driven and WM follower, and there are some other process which are WM driven and IM follower. This means that there are some process which will initiate in the inventory management, then it will follow in the WM manager. For example, whenever we are doing the good receipt process. So whenever we are doing the good receipt process, we will be having the purchase order. Then we will proceed with the good receipt of the purchase order from the IM management. So whenever we are doing the good receipt of the purchase order, we are doing the Iem posting. So we are initiating the process with Iem level management. Then the posting in Iem will result in the increase in the value in the inventory management. But in all the instances, we need to have the same level of inventory in the IM as well as WM. In order to make sure that the inventory should be same in both IM and WM, we have the concept like interim storage type. In the interim storage type, what basically happens is that inventory they actually in the interim storage type, there is no particular bins, but we are temporarily keeping the bins. That means the dynamic bins are automatically created in the inventory management so that the total quantity of stock in both IM and WM should be same. So interim management is basically used to link the total stock between the IM and WM. Here in this session, we will see how we are doing with this kind of movements. Moving on to the objective of this session. The main objective of this session is to understand the linking of both IM management and the WM management. Warehouse management in SAP R3 is closely linked to inventory management, a function of material management. In this session, we'll discuss how warehouse management and inventory management combine and how you can influence the way they interact. So, the way in which they link to each other is via the moment types. In inventory management, the moment types plays a central role as the instrument for controlling the good receipt, goods issue, and the posting activities. In warehouse management also, the moment types, which similar to the counterparts in inventory management, control the process flow in the warehouse. In particular, the influences the selection of interim storage area. So any posting change results in the increase or decrease in the quantity in IM as well as in the WM area. So basically, whenever we are doing any posting in IM, which should be linked with the WM movement type as well. In the similar way, if we have any posting that is triggered from WM, it should have the same posting in IM level management. The WM triggering activities, the example could be, there could be the mm, sales order scenario where we'll be creating the sales order, then we'll be having the outbound delivery. From the outbound delivery, we'll be directly creating the transfer order. Then we'll confirm the transfer order. So in this particular scenario, the WM posting happens first, but still we haven't done the Iem posting, that is a goods issue posting. So once the WM posting is done, we will be creating a particular negative count in the interim storage type, so that the total quantity of material, that means quantity stock in both Im and WM, should be same. Then after doing this process, we will be doing the Im posting, that's a goods issue posting for the sales order scenario. So basically when we do the Im posting, what basically happens is we will be creating another posting in Im level as well, similar to WM, so that we will be clearing the material from the interim storage type, and we make more quantities available, so that the quantity must be same in both Im and WM regions. Now we will see in depth of movement types. Warehouse movement. When we assign planned or storage location in Im to the warehouse number in warehouse management, the total stock balance between the Im and WM remains the same. When you post good received or goods issue, that result in change of stock quantity in the system. Two postings are normally required to complete the process, one in Im and one in WM. So this means that whenever you are having your plant and storage location linked to your warehouse, any posting that is performed in Im should be done in WM, and any posting that is done in WM should be linked to the Im level as well. So the total quantity of material remains the same in both Im and WM. Now in this session I will show you how the movement types are created in WM and how we link the Im and WM movement types. So movement types in Im and WM. The movement type in Im and WM are linked via reference movement type. So in Im movement type, we have a certain characteristics that will trigger during the posting of each Im level activities. That means whenever we are doing the good receipt. During the time of good receipt in MIGO, that is MIGO, we have the movement type 101 that is getting triggered. This particular Im movement type will increase the quantity in Im level data. So this Im level movement type is linked to the WM level movement type, because the plant and storage location is linked to the WM level as well. So we don't directly link the Im movement type with the WM movement type. We link the Im movement type with a reference movement type, then the reference movement type is linked with the WM movement type. So there are various advantage for the linking of Im movement type with the reference movement type and the reference movement type with the warehouse movement type. The path for the same is in SPRO, logistics execution, warehouse management, And then in interfaces, there is a table where we link the inventory management momentum with the reference management momentum. Then we have another table that link the reference momentum with the warehouse management momentum. Now we will see what is interim storage area and interim storage bin. Every inventory management posting that is done in WM management storage location generate at least one count in interim storage area. In many cases, the interim storage area represent special areas like the good receipt area or the goods issue area. So basically, whenever we do any posting in IM or WM, it will trigger the same movements in the interim storage area and in interim storage bins. So the interim storage bins are basically the dynamic bins that are being created so that the total quantity of material in the IM should be equal to the WM. So in interim storage bins, we have we have various interim storage bins like good receipt area, goods issue area, interim area for difference, and the posting chain zone interim area. So good receipt interim area means whenever we are doing the IM posting for the good receipt. In 101, the material will be posted onto the IM location. The IM should be the quantity in the IM and WM should be same, and we specify the same via using the interim area for the good receipt, that is 902. So whenever we are doing any posting, the IM level posting for the good receipt, the material will be available in the interim area, that is 902 area. That is a temporary storage that we are showing in the interim so that the total quantity of material in the IM should be same as WM. So this is the concept of interim storage area. So that the so whenever we are doing the IM posting for the good receipt, the material increase in the IM area, but the material is not available in the WM area, but the material is available in the interim storage area, so that total quantity of material in the both IM and WM should be same. So the interim area basically connects the IM and WM storage areas. When we see the goods issue area, we have the sales order scenario in which we create the sales order and we have the outbound deliveries. Once we have the outbound delivery, we will be issuing the material from the warehouses. So whenever we do the issuing of material from the warehouses, we have the transfer order created, and from the transfer order we'll pick the material from the particular bin and the material will be moved out to the interim area for differences. So basically, when we deal with the interim area for goods issue, there is 916. The material that is picked from the WM is temporarily placed in the interim storage bin, that is nothing but the temporary dynamic bin that is created for the goods issue purpose. So over here the material will be available in the goods issue area of the interim bin. The storage type is 916 and the bin creator will be same as the outbound delivery. So So basically the concept behind this one is that so the total quantity of material in the IM should be same as that of W. Then the third interim storage area is the posting change zone. So whenever we are doing any transfer posting in WM, we need to link the same with the IM level as well. The transfer posting refers to the change in the stock category of the material. So in the IM level, we change the stock category of the material. There could be different stock category available for the material. For example, it could be unrestricted stock category, then it could be quality inspection stock category, then it could be blocked stock category or customer returns blocked stock category. So there may be instances where we'll be changing the stock category of a material from one stock category to the other. So that means that transfer posting can be done for movement of data or the quantity from the unrestricted to the quality or quality to the blocked or blocked to the customer returns and customer returns to the unrestricted. Only the unrestricted quantity and the material can be used directly for the valuation purpose and any movement within the warehouse. So in order to manage that, we have the interim storage area in the WM level as well, which will maintain the total quantity of stock in the IM and WM as same. That is regarding the interim storage area for posting change. Then we have the fourth interim storage area for differences. So whenever we perform the physical inventory process in IM and WM, that means we check the quantity of stock in warehouse management physically as well as the total quantity of stock in the system. There could be some instances that there are difference in the stock quantity in the system as well as physically. So for example, in the system we see 100 tons of material, but physically when we checked, it was only 50 tons of material. Then there is a difference in the 50 tons of material extra in the system. So always the quantity of material in the system as well as in the uh, physically should be same. In order to maintain that, the extra 50 items in the system is moved to the 999 storage type. That is the interim storage area for differences. So whenever we are moving it, we make sure that total quantity of metal in the IM should be same as that of W. So in this process, the 50 tons, that's the extra 50 tons from the system is moved to the 999 storage type, and we write off the extra 50 quantities. So that in the WM, the total quantity of material in the WM should be same as that of warehouse. Then after this process, we write off the extra quantity, that is a 50 quantity from the 999, so that the total quantity of material in the IM should be same as that of WM. So these are the four major interim storage areas and types that are basically used in the IM and WM. That means first one is the good receipt area for the good receipt purpose. 902 is the storage type, and the bin generator will be the same as that of the purchase order. The goods issue area 916, the interim area will be same as that of the outbound delivery. Then posting change zone, which is used for changing the posting for one stock category to the another stock category. Then interim area for differences, it is used to manage the stock differences between the physical warehouse and in the system. So when we see in the slide, An interim storage area can, however, be a virtual unit. For example, an interim area for posting chain activities do not involve a stock transfer. So in the posting area on and all, so basically we are not moving the material, we are just changing the uh, stock category from one stock category to another stock category. So in this process, we physically uh, do not do any changes, but whenever we are doing any modification in WM, we need to have a transroad. So transroader will move the material from one stock category into the interim area for difference. Then the next is the material from the interim storage area is moved back to the another stock category. So physically there is no movement or nor the interim storage area, but the stock category changes. So this is the screen of the movement type in WM. We'll see in details how the movement type in WM looks like. So here the warehouse number is 120, the movement type is 101, and this is having the three tabs, that is a source, destination, and return. Source means that whenever we are triggering this movement type, it need to pick the material from the source storage type. Here the picking happens in the 902. So the basic business behind this process is that whenever we are doing the good receipt, material is available in the Iem area. That means after the posting, the material will come to the 902 movement type. Here we tick the source SCR as a tick. That means that in the interim storage type, that is a 902, a dynamic bin must be created. In this scenario, the dynamic bin number will be same as the purchase order number. So we see the total quantity of material posted in the dynamic bin of 902 as well. So once the material available in the 902, we do the confirmation, we do the creation of TO. So in the TO process, the material will be picked from the 902 and will be placed in the actual destination bin of WM. So while creation of the actual bin in the WM, the system will be using the various strategies. So as per the strategies, the material will be available uh, in the proposed particular bin of the particular storage type in WM. So now in the system, we'll see how this kind of things are carried out, how the movement type and interim storage type are determined in the IM and WM level. Now moving on to the system. First, we'll see the configuration for the movement time. In SPRO, SAP reference IMG, in logistic execution, warehouse management activities. The please mind the path that we are moved: SPRO, SPRO IMG, logistics execution, warehouse management, and the activities. In that transfers movement types. So we'll go to our warehouse that I have created, that is NKK, and the movement type 101. Here we'll see the in detail about what are the various configuration that are present in the WM set. So basically the warehouse is NKK and the movement type is 101. That is nothing but the good receipt for the purchase order. Then we basically have three types. One is source, then another is destination, and another is returns. So here it means that source is 902. So basically it means that we need to pick the material from the source storage type, that is 902. Here it is nothing but the area, that is the interim storage area for the good receipt. Then if we want to maintain a particular bin in the interim storage area, that is 902, you can go ahead and keep the fixed bin over here, and we need to select that as the fixed bin. So if we select this strategy and we maintain it as fixed bin, any of the fixed bin, so in this process what basically happens is system will do the Iem posting, and system will understand what is the interim storage area, and system will post the material in the 902 storage type with the bin fixed bin. So always in the interim area, if you want to have the fixed bin, you need to specify the fixed bin as over here, and we need to select the bin as the fixed bin. So upon doing the same, system will understand you need to keep the movements and we need to have the material in the fixed bin of the storage interim storage type 902. If you don't want to keep in the fixed bin of 902, instead if you want to create a bin in the 902, you need to specify the same under the category SCR. So if you specify the same in the SCR, it means that whenever you are doing any posting in 902, then you need to create a dynamic bin for the put away or picking the material from the interim storage area 902. So when we click over here, the system will directly create a interim storage bin. The interim storage bin will be dynamic in nature. So dynamic means that the way in which the material will be placed in the storage bin will be the coordinates of the bin will be same as the preceding document number. So for the good receipt, we specify the requirement type is B, that is purchase order. So it will, when we click onto the source dynamic bin, system will check what is the requirement type. So it is purchase order. So system will create a bin in the 902 with the purchase order number. So when we do the good receipt in Iem, system will post the material in 902 with the interim storage bin creation. So the interim bin will be same as that of the purchase order. So the purchase order interim bin is created in the interim area for difference. Then we move on to the destination. So whenever we are doing the goods issue activities, that means when we proceed with the Iem posting first, and after that we have the Iem posting. In this particular scenario, we specify that the destination should be over here. So in this particular moment, if we are going ahead and specifying the destination is 916 and the source is over here, then system will put away the material in the interim storage type 916. And if you want to specify any fixed bin, you can specify the fixed bin over here. So and we need to specify this as the fixed bin. So what basically happens is whenever we are doing the goods issue in WM, the material will be posted onto 916 and the bin will be fixed bin. So all the times whenever we are doing the goods issue, the material will come to 916 fixed bin, and we specify that that is a fixed bin by using the indicator over here. The source dynamic bin, if we select, system will automatically create a bin in the 916 with the dynamic destination type. That is the here. Then we, instead of purchase order, we'll give outbound delivery. System may be slow. Okay, no worries. I'll just log on again. I'll go to SPR screen, SAP reference IMG, logistics execution, warehouse management, activities, transfers, movement types. we select the particular moment type. Okay. So in the requirement type, we'll see what is the particular requirement type for the goods issue. So if you want to specify any of the requirement type, you can select and the bin will be created as per the requirement type. Then in returns. So if he deals that, for example, we are picking the material from a particular bin. That means in the bin we have 100 tons of material, but picking we need only 50 tons of material. But in the storage bin we specify the full picking indication. So basically for the picking purpose, system will pick the entire 100 tons of material, but while doing the goods issue, it will only do the 50 tons of material. Then what we will do with the remaining 50 items? So that we specify it over here. We specify that it should go to which interim storage bin and the particular storage type. Basically, in most of the scenario, we'll move the material to the source bin itself so that the quantity that is picked from the bin when a fully level will be put back, the remaining quantity will be put back to the same bin itself. Next is shipment type. The shipment type refers to the process that we are executing with respect to the movement type. It could be stock removal or stock placement or posting change or warehouse supervising activity. Here in this moment it is 101, that is stock placement. So if we are doing the stock removal, we can place the shipment type as A, that is stock removal, movement of item from the particular bin. If we are proceeding with the posting change, that means changing the stock category of the material, then we can specify the shipment type is U, that is basically the posting change. Next is the warehouse supervisor movement type, which will be used by the warehouse supervisor for the particular activities. So we can specify one type of movement type, this one, by using the shipment type. Next is transfer comments. So this is the control that determines whether we need to have the TO creation allowed or TR creation allowed or not. First one is manual TA creation not allowed. So whenever we are creating the movement with respect to 101 and we specify the manual TO creation not allowed, then system will propose for the creation of TO from the subsequent document. We won't be able to create any TO for the good receipt 902 process. So if you want, this is depends upon the business scenario, and if you want to create any moments with after the Iem posting, we can just uncheck this particular checkbox so that manual TO creation will be allowed. Next is manual TR creation allowed. This means that if you want to create a TR after the posting of Iem, then we need to check this one. Otherwise, system will not allow you to create a transfer comment. Then is the various controls in the data. So if you want to specify the dates, that means age of the count via using the good receipt, it is over here. If we select the date, it will be like good receipt data in the count. If you want to go with the over deliveries, you need to select the control over here. And if you want to go ahead with the foreground process or the background process, we need to have the selection over here as well. That means if you are working with the this particular moment type, how the control should be, that means how the TO creation and TO creation happens. If you want to proceed with the system guided, we can make it as blank. If you want to proceed with the background, we need to select the D. So if we select D, system will create the material document and everything in the background. If we want to proceed with the um, foreground, we need to select the uh, picking foreground or background indicator as H. Next is a screen control. So screen control means that how the screen should look and proceed after the preceding document. For the TO creation, how the screen control is prepare screen for placement into the stock. So whenever we do any good receipt in IM and any trigger for 101 moment in WM, for the TO creation, it should prepare the screen for the placement into stock. That means system will propose the TO creation for the put away activities. If it is good receipt activities, we will specify the second one, so that prepare screen for the stock removal activities. Since it is put away, it will be one. So if you don't want to do any particular movement and we need to have the single item screen, we need to select 3. For the TO confirmation also, we have the screen control. That means we can influence how the screen should look like and flow. So for the TO confirmation, we specified it as 1. That means list screen with quantity ready for input, that is put away. So this is selected since it is a good received moment type. If we are dealing with goods issue moment type, we'll be selecting the second one. So that means goods screen should show the quantities that is ready for put away, that is ready for stock removal. Now for the print control, we have the print code as 01. So this means that single print for the TO item. Automatic TO means that in background processing, that means the TO transfer order can be created in 3 ways: manual transfer order creation, automatic transfer order creation, and immediate transfer order creation. In the automatic transfer order creation, we specify there is a particular way. That means we specify that there is a background program for the creation of transfer order. So the background program name is RLAUTA10. I repeat, RLAUTA10. So the warehouse supervisor or the controller will run the program in the transaction code SC38, and he will run the program RLAUTA10 to convert all the transfer orders automatically. So if you want to convert the transfer order automatically, that means from the TR to TO, you need to specify the indicator as A. Next is confirmation indicator. So in the confirmation indicator, we specify whether the TO item can be confirmed immediately, and we specify that TO item can be confirmed immediately. Then we need to check the checkbox as here. And if it is only for the proposing for the confirmation, we need to select the second checkbox. Then upon doing the Iem posting, and it will trigger the WM posting, then that time system will propose for the confirmation. This means that post to the same bin. So whenever we are working with the over deliveries, That means more quantities are picked from the particular bin. The remaining quantities, if you want to put onto the same bin, we can select this particular checkbox so that the extra material for the picking will be posted to the same bin. The reference storage type search. The reference storage type search is another influencing factor which will influence the picking or the put away search strategy by the reference storage type indicator. We can keep any of the indicator over here, and when we run the particular transaction, system will check whether the particular transaction and the reference storage type exists, and it will pick the particular WM movement type from here, and it will see what is the source or the destination or the return storage type, and it will process the particular activity. So this is in brief about the configuration of the movement types. So in the next session, we'll see how the Iem and WM is linked and what are the various interim storage type available in the warehouse activity. Hope you enjoyed this session and thank you for attending this session.